handbag. Ancient Sumerians were more than familiar with handbags, or perhaps objects that modern people perceive as such.
Across ancient worlds, a small but striking shape keeps appearing. A handbag held by gods, spirits, and kings. From Mesopotamia and Mesoamerica to the prehistoric sanctuary of Göbekli Tepe, this image returns across vast distances in deep time. What did it mean? Ritual tool, symbol of power, or memory of something older? Let's trace the motif, the discoveries that revealed it, and the debates it continues to spark. The enduring motif. Across temple walls, palace reliefs, and monumental stones, ancient artists carved exalted figures, often winged or semi-divine, holding a compact, rounded, or rectangular container with a curved handle. The form looks practical, yet it appears in sacred settings, implying a deeper purpose. The motif runs from the Sumerians, Assyrians, and Babylonians in the ancient Near East to the Olmec of Mesoamerica, and even to the hunter-gatherer builders of Göbekli Tepe in modern-day Turkey. Its persistence puzzles scholars because it feels both specific and universal. A portable vessel that seems to carry not only contents but meaning, ritual, divine favor, protection, knowledge. In Mesopotamia, the image is clearest. There, winged guardians, known from Akkadian texts as Apkallu, semi-divine sages who mediate between gods and humans, are shown with a pine cone-like object in one hand, the mululu, a purifier, and a small bucket or bag in the other, the bandudu. Reliefs place these beings around kings, sacred trees, and threshold spaces, the very zones where order must be renewed and guarded. The repeated pairing of cone and container suggests an act, sprinkling consecrated water, rather than a random accessory. Even so, the motif's clean, standardized shape raises the question, did the object exist as shown, or is it a stylized sign for a broader rite? Early Mesopotamian discoveries. The motif came to light during the 19th century golden age of Mesopotamian archaeology. Between 1845 and 1851, British excavator Austen Henry Layard uncovered the Northwest Palace at Nimrud, ancient Kalhu. Carved panels showed ranks of winged figures performing what looked like a purification ceremony, each carrying the signature bag with its semicircular handle and textured surface. Layard's engravings in Monuments of Nineveh, 1853, introduced this enigmatic image to the wider world. Later digs at the Assyrian capitals of Nineveh and Khorsabad by Paul Emile Botta and Hormuz Rassam revealed more of the same iconography. In Sargon II's palace at Khorsabad, circa 710 BCE, Apkallu flanked the king, or a stylized sacred tree, lifting the cone toward the branches while holding the bucket below, as if channeling life and blessing. Inscriptions in the architecture's ceremonial placement reinforce a ritual function, guarding the palace, purifying the ruler, and sustaining cosmic order. Philologists then linked image to text. As cuneiform tablets were deciphered, scholars like Henry Rawlinson and George Smith identified the winged figures as the Apkallu mentioned in Sumerian and Akkadian myths, sages created by the god Ea/Enki to bring wisdom to humanity. Early 20th century researchers, including Leonard William King and R. Campbell Thompson, connected these reliefs to incantation and lustration rites described in ritual texts. Thompson argued the bandudu likely held holy water used to purify both king and space, giving the reliefs an apotropaic, protective purpose. The imagery's stability across reigns underscores its canonical meaning. Scenes from Sennacherib's palace at Nineveh repeat the same visual grammar. Cone raised, bucket held low, sacred tree or royal figure at center. Thorkild Jakobsson's mid-century work framed this as part of a ritualized worldview in which the king mediated between human society and divine order. Irene Winter later argued the reliefs were performative, visually enacting the rite so that purification was always underway in the palace. Jeremy Black and Anthony Green synthesized the consensus. The bandudu is a ritual vessel paired with the mululu to sprinkle consecrated water. A persistent puzzle remains. Archaeologists have never found a real object that matches the carved handbag. Excavations yielded bowls, libation vessels, censers, and amulets, but not this compact, curved-handled container. Most scholars see this as stylization. The stone image compresses a class of ritual containers into a single legible symbol, much as the Tree of Life or hybrid guardians condense complex ideas into recognizable forms. High-resolution imaging and 3D modeling of Nimrud, reliefs by the British Museum's Iraq Heritage Project, reveal fine cross-hatching on the bags, suggesting woven or metal textures. The artistic emphasis reads as sanctity and richness, not utility. Meanwhile, residue studies from temple contexts affirm the centrality of water and aromatic oils in purification rites, consistent with the iconography. Parallels across worlds. Far from Mesopotamia, the shape appears again. In Mesoamerica, the Olmec carving known as La Venta Monument 19 circa 900 to 400 BCE shows a figure emerging from a serpent's coils, grasping a small rectangular object with a curved handle, strikingly close in outline to the Mesopotamian bag. Excavated in the 1940s by Matthew Sterling, the scene is often linked to an early form of the feathered serpent deity, later known as Quetzalcoatl. The pairing of ruler, priest, and serpent power mirrors in a new cultural language, the association of sacred authority with a potent, portable symbol. At Göbekli Tepe in southeastern Turkey, dated to roughly 9,600 to 9,500 BCE, long before cities, massive T-shaped limestone pillars carry low-relief carvings of animals and symbols. Among them are stylized handbags, often placed above animals like foxes and birds, as if marking a cosmic register. Excavated under the direction of Klaus Schmidt from 1995 until 2014, the site suggests the motif was meaningful even to pre-agricultural communities, perhaps as part of a shared symbolic system about the sky, the hunt, or the sacred. There is no evidence that people in these cultures carried handbags in a modern sense. Ancient containers existed: woven baskets, leather pouches, stone and ceramic vessels for liquids and powders, but none matched the carved, compact rectangle with a fixed handle. In Mesopotamia, the image sits in ritual scenes. In Mesoamerica, it appears with deities or rulers. At Göbekli Tepe, it resides among cosmological signs. The form matters less as a piece of gear than as a condensed emblem, repeated because it communicated something essential. Scholarship and speculation. By the late 19th century, as cuneiform decipherment advanced, Layard's mystic emblems gained context. The cone became the purifier, the bag the ritual bucket, the figures apkallu, liminal beings whose presence kept disorder at bay. In the early 1900s, King and Campbell Thompson detailed the apotropaic function of these reliefs, linking palace carvings to incantation texts designed to protect royal spaces. Jacobson emphasized a ritualized cosmos in which the king upheld order. Winter saw the reliefs as ever-active ceremonies embedded in architecture. Black and green confirmed that the consistent pairing of cone and bucket mirrored real acts of sprinkling holy water. Modern methods have refined, not overturned, this reading. Imaging shows artisans adding rich surface detail to the bags, enhancing their sacral prestige. Laboratory analyses confirm lustration materials prevalence in temple settings. Zainab Bahrani and Paul Collins have emphasized the ideological work of Assyrian art. It is not mere illustration, but a political theology, broadcasting cosmic kingship. Within that system, the apkallu and their implements embody purity and the divine sanction of rule. Today, a broad scholarly consensus holds the handbags are ritual buckets whose meaning lies in the act they enable, purifying people, spaces, and symbols to keep the world in balance. Yet the story doesn't end with consensus. The motif's global reach and tidy geometry invite alternative readings. Ancient astronaut writers such as Erich von Däniken reimagined the bags as technological devices, portable power, communications, or environmental tools carried by otherworldly visitors. For them, the motif's cross-cultural uniformity signals memory of a shared encounter with beings whose tools surpassed ancient understanding. Others turn to psychology. Drawing on Carl Jung's idea of archetypes, they argue the bag represents a universal image of containment. the womb, the vessel, the portable sanctuary that holds life, wisdom, or spirit. This archetype echoes across Pandora's jar in Greece, the sacred satchels of shamans in Central Asia and North America, and countless myths where gods guard precious contents. Cultures might independently arrive at similar symbols because they address common human concerns: creation, fertility, the safekeeping and transmission of knowledge. New Age and metaphysical perspectives see the object as a vessel of subtle energies: ki, prana, life force, tools for channeling or balancing unseen fields. Comparisons surface with Egypt's Ankh or India's Lingam Yoni pair, signs that fuse material and spiritual power. Some writers go further. In Magicians of the Gods, 2015, Graham Hancock suggests the repeated handbags may preserve a memory of an advanced prehistoric culture that survived a cataclysm near the end of the Younger Dryas and passed down astronomical and architectural knowledge. Knowledge later echoed at Göbekli Tepe and in the earliest civilizations. Mainstream archaeology remains unconvinced by these speculative frameworks, citing the lack of material evidence and the strength of ritual interpretations grounded in text and context. Still, the endurance of alternative theories reveals something important about the symbol's pull. It lives at the edge of the known, a sealed container carried by beings of power, hinting at secrets within. That tension fuels its modern afterlife. In the 21st century, the motif has gone viral in digital culture. Side-by-side images, Assyrian Apkallu, Olmec carvings, Göbekli Tepe reliefs, circulate with captions about lost knowledge or ancient technology. TV series like Ancient Aliens showcase the handbags as visual hooks. Art exhibitions and graphic novels rework them as metaphors for contained wisdom. The image travels easily between scholarship, media, and myth, accumulating meanings as it goes. Its appeal is also mythological. Traditions worldwide imagine sacred containers, objects that confer authority, life, or insight. Consider Hermes' pouch, the Hindu kamandalu water vessel used in ritual, or copal bags used in Mesoamerican incense offerings. In each case, containment becomes a metaphor for possession. Whoever holds the vessel holds the power it carries. The ancient handbag captures that idea in a compact, portable form. Whether we read these carvings as ritual buckets, archetypal vessels, metaphysical tools, or echoes of a forgotten age, they reveal a shared human impulse to link the earthly with the transcendent, to hold and carry what cannot be seen. Their presence in sacred art across multiple civilizations shows how symbols can outlast the languages, rites, and empires that first gave them shape. Long after the artisans of Nimrud, La Venta, and Göbekli Tepe laid down their tools, the handbags of the gods still invite us to ask who we are, where we come from, and what knowledge we're trying to preserve. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Epic Dive for more amazing documentaries.